So our last but not by any stretch least award goes to Val Wishart for changing lives. So please welcome from Beyond the Numbers, Val Wishart. Have a seat, have a microphone. If you'd like to start us off by just telling us a little bit about yourself and your practice.
Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Val, as Shane said, and my practice is Beyond the Numbers. We are based in Edinburgh, and unlike the poor free agent people, it only took us an hour to get here on the plane last night, actually. We are a small practice. There's 5 in the team. We're all women, not by design, but it just happened that way. And our clients are all small businesses, mainly within the Edinburgh area.
Brilliant, thank you. Obviously, in your award entry, and recently I've interviewed you a couple of times as well, you talked about how you wanted your practice to be different. And obviously, you're changing lives now. You've got a couple of really inspiring stories that I'd like to share. But first of all, just what was it that really, what was the light bulb moment, if you like, from changing from what you initially set up doing, or what your previous experiences was, to really want to make this profound difference that you're making?
Well, when I did set up Beyond the Numbers, I didn't come through the traditional accountancy firm route, so I had been in business and industry. And the reason I called the practice Beyond the Numbers was because I didn't want to be an accountant that did a set of accounts and told people how much their tax was and handed them the bill. I wanted to do something to actually help people and to make a difference to how they felt, not just about their business, but about their lives. And so numbers are brilliant, but they're only brilliant if they help you to do something or change something or make something better for yourself. So that's where I started from. And we had got slightly away from that, and we had got slightly into just chugging out the deadlines and everything. So we had to make a determined effort to come back to where we started from.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, your award entry comprised predominantly of 2 key stories, didn't it? And I'd like, if you don't mind, to share those. I know the names are obviously changed, but if you can tell us the Jack story, that would be fantastic.
Yes, so Jack came to us last October, and he had a definite plan for where he wanted to go for his business, unlike very many of our clients. And he had an accountant who he liked very much and had a great relationship with, but who actually only gave him a set of accounts and a tax return and didn't want to and wasn't able to do any more than that for him. And his plan was to, within a couple of years, be able to start to move back from running the business day to day and actually take a step back, but have the business being able to run without him. And he also told me that he had to get his wife retired within 2 years, otherwise she'd kill him. So that was the starting point. So we started by just giving Jack some more information about his business, which was basically setting up some reporting for him, some monthly reporting, getting some forecasts done for him, looking at what the business would have to do to allow him to get where he wanted to get to with his plan, which is great and stuff that I'm sure everybody does for their clients. But around about April, he phoned me on a Friday afternoon and he said, the plan changed. And I said, okay, what's changed about the plan? And he said, my wife needs to retire sooner. And I went, okay, well, how much sooner? Next week. Right, okay. So basically, his daughter had been suffering from ME. And she'd been really, really struggling with this. And she had got severe depression as a result of it. And so she wasn't able to stay at home anymore on her own. And so his wife wanted to give up her job so that she could stay at home to care for their daughter. And so I thought, right, we've got a weekend of thinking to do here. So looked at the numbers, looked at where he wanted to get to, looked at what the business was able to pay him, etc., etc. And Monday morning we met, went through some numbers, looked at shifting shares from him to his wife, and looked at whether the business was able to afford to pay them what they needed to live on, and figured out that it was, and basically phoned his wife, and she went and handed in her notice at work, and she left the next day. So that effectively changed their lives. They're now actually, as we speak, in Italy with their daughter enjoying a lovely holiday.
Thank you very much. And Sarah's story, please.
Yes, so Sarah also came to us around about the same time last year, and again was getting absolutely no information about running her business at all. She has an online retail business that most of the sales are at Christmas time, and she had no idea during the course of the year whether she had enough money to make it to Christmas every year, and she was pretty desperate and wasn't sleeping and was very stressed about it. So the first thing we did was actually just put some cash flow forecasts in place for her and actually help work with her on what the cash was going to look like, which her previous accountant hadn't even bothered to suggest to her. So that was a really helpful thing for her to do and to start to get information regularly about how the business was performing. But she came to us around about the same time and said, we were in a meeting and I was just chatting and just asking the usual questions, how's it going and how's life and how are your kids and all these kind of questions. And she burst into tears. And she said, oh, one of my wee boys has been diagnosed as being on the autistic spectrum, and he's getting bullied at school. It's so much so that last week he came home absolutely battered and bruised. Sorry, I get a bit emotional when I think about this. And so she was in floods of tears and very upset. And I thought, well, we've got to figure out how to help her in some way or another. And I said, well, what could help you here? And she said, the only thing that we can do is try and move schools and move him to a private school whereby he can get the specialist care that he needs at school. So we set about looking at how she could pay herself differently, how she could get more money out of the business, whether the business could afford to do this for her, and figured out with her that actually, yes, she could do it. And so she managed to get her child out and into a private school. He's now doing really well. Actually, he's got a sore tooth this week, but apart from that, he's doing really well. And she is now actually sleeping at night. So that was her story.
Thank you very much. Obviously, that was an amazing journey. What is making this? I know you're doing a lot for B1G, one of the global goals as well, but we've run out of time to talk to that, which is why I wanted to mention it. But what's all this mean for you personally?
I could tell you that the business has grown, the turnover's grown, the profit's grown, the team's grown, and we're working with the kind of clients that we want to work with. But actually, all of us in our own little way go home at night thinking that we've helped make a little bit of difference in the world.
Thank you very much.